Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. It's an unboxing. Don't need to say where it's from, do we? I'm sure you'll recognise the packaging. I've actually got a note written on the box, which is a good place to put it, because if it was inside the box it wouldn't work. Hello Roger, please unpack it with extra care. Regards, Susa. One of two reasons why that should be there, one of which I know, and there's a possibility of another reason why this needs to be done carefully. But a lot of it will depend on what packing's like, which has always been good. I've never had any complaints about how things are packed, but yeah, there is a reason for a very careful unwrapping this time round. And as it specifically says so, we will do what we can. So literally everything that comes out now has to be taken out with care to make sure it's not holding a piece of a plant. And we're doing things differently today. The newspaper's going in there because, as you know, I keep plants here now. Those that are in bloom, they sit in this corner, and they're now on the floor. So that's where I normally throw my rubbish, so the rubbish is going in there this time. I think this is just, until I get down to the bubble wrap, I think we are just dealing with paper. You're going to be a bit ecstatic with one of these if the blooms have survived. It did say they may not. So when it specifically says there's a chance that the blooms might not make it, you have to be extra careful. Right, plant number one. And this is a little one. Do you know, I can't remember what this is. Oh yes I can, jolly good. And the spike's alive. So what we've got here is a little, another Psychopsis. And the reason I took a good look at this one, not only does it have a developing spike, so I haven't got to wait for one, but it's got two new growths, which if they hang in there, should build the strength of the plant quite quickly. It's covered in grit on the top, and quite honestly at the moment there's no point in taking that sellotape off, it won't achieve anything. We can see the plant. One thing I will say is strange, that spike appears to be coming out a pair of leaves almost that look like a pseudobulb. They're not. There's just two leaves very, very close together, because that's not normal. Right, so we'll put that one and get the stick out. That's something that can knock things, and we'll just pop that up there for now, out of the way. Because I don't know what's coming next, that's the problem. I think it's going to be this one. Both of the next two plants are in bloom. One of them may be classed as a bit of a silly choice, given my past experience, but you're going to come out gently. What about that then? Believe it or not, I've been after that for a long, long, long time. It's a variety of Laelia purpurata called striata, and that was always my first choice. The Atropurpurea was the second choice, it just happened to be the one I came across first. So let's see if we can get the newspaper off. So the blooms have survived. There's a dead leaf on this plant. Actually it's an old sheath, we don't worry about that. Looked like a leaf. So it's another biggie. Right, well, the leaf on the pseudo bulb that has bloomed has been cut off, which must mean there was a problem. I can see some fading on this leaf. This is a good leaf, and we also have a growth round here that actually looks quite new. And looking at the shape of the plant, we've got oldest bulb, next one, next one, next one, which is in bloom, and another one that's growing a sheath. So we may get some more blooms down the line. Don't worry about the yellowing there, that's the sheath on the outside. See? That's nothing to do with the bulb underneath. So we have the possibility of another maturing bulb. This is a very misshaped bulb, but anyway, that's why it was got. It's not just the colour of the lip, it's the colour of the petals and sepals with that lovely marking, those lovely stripes and veinings. Right, so that's that one. Stick out. Oh, I'll do sellotape in a minute. But this has got some active growing roots in the pot. I can see root tips everywhere. And I can see the root system. Looks like there's a lump of something in the middle of the pot, as though this has been taken out of a pot. There's a sign of it too. And the root ball left and then potted on into a larger pot, possibly. But we've got some active roots growing. The roots that are important are mainly the ones around the outside here, and they're not in anything apart from some loose bark. So they're not going to rot or anything if it stays in its pot as it is for a while, which it actually needs to do. So, running out of space again. I'll have to get that extension built, won't I? Why you laugh? Now the next one, Michael McCarthy, is down to you. You put a post on the Facebook group. Thank you very much. It was an elaborate post. It went on and on and on. The detail level in there was extreme, and I would reasonably safely say there's everything you could want in that post from somebody with success. Those are the people you listen to, not people who read it in a book and are repeating it. That's no flipping good to man and beast if it's not right. So Michael, this is your fault, but we are being very silly and having another go. And I know it's silly, but I was looking at getting some plants and I saw this one and I thought, oh, for hell's sake, these cannot be that difficult. And having had a detailed post to that level, going into the nth detail of how to grow these, how to repot them, when, what with, well, I can't go wrong, can I? It's destined to live this time. What we've actually got here is a spike that is almost fully opened, but not quite. There's one bud left to go. And another spike that hasn't started opening yet, which is good. Very good. So we've got more blooms to come. Now this one is coming out of the pot because I want to see what the plant's like. The key, if you're not good at growing Zygos, one of the most important things is to start with a good one. One that's got roots, one that is growing okay as it stands, without you interfering with it and ruining it. Right, let's get our stick out. I don't think this has got a name, it's just a Zygo hybrid from what I remember. So that's not going to say much, is it? It's going to say Zygopetalum. Well, this are true. The pot weighs nothing, because I know what the weight of this plant is. This is this is quite a heavy plant, and the pot weighs nothing. Dare I try and lift it gently? It's not going to come out, I don't think. I was just checking the bottom of the pot, because sometimes a plant is held in the pot by the stake going right through. I'll live with that. That's not a bad root system. Not a bad start then, which is the important bit. And the pseudobulbs, this is a pseudobulb with a spike that has had a spike cut off. So it had two, for the looks of it. And then this pseudobulb over here is the second spike. So that's the two latest growths basically. And behind them they have a couple of little seedling bulbs and two mature pseudobulbs, also one of which has actually bloomed. So this looks like a bit of a bloomer, doesn't it? Seems to quite like it. Leaves are in good nick. Even on the old pseudobulb, it's had the tip cut off, brown tip I suspect. Yeah. Nice clean leaves. We have a root system, and it's in coco coir with some lumps. I do believe that was one of the choices. So that means I haven't got a rush to repot this, which is good. My downfall has always been just that. They seem to be doing not bad, repot them and they fail. And having read Michael's big write-up, I can reasonably safely say that the reason they failed was they were potted in the wrong stuff. So, there we go. I was going to say there won't be any fragrance yet. There might be tomorrow. So, it's an attractive bloom. It's the typical deep burgundy red on green stripy pattern with the lovely deep purple lip with some even deeper purple stripes and some pale markings. So it's a typical Zygo hybrid that, let's see how long we can keep this alive. This one is a challenge. I'm not going to get beaten by this one. So every step of the way this one's going to get refer back to that. In fact, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go and find that post on Facebook and cut the text out, paste it in a Word document so that I don't lose it. You know what it's like on Facebook groups. The more posts come in over the top, the farther things get pushed down. And there's one post at the minute that's going to sit at the top for a long time because people keep adding to it. And that's going to go on for some time as well. So there we go, 3 new plants. A silly purchase. Zygopetalum bought by Roger is not best of ideas from past experience. But let's see if we can give it a decent go this time, shall we? And some paperwork. This was a strange one for Zuza. When I got to the checkout, I had 3 plants. You stick them in your basket, obviously, so that when you get to your checkout, you get your discount for your additional plants. There was no discount on these because they all had a promotional postage rating, which means it's already been discounted. So I think overall I paid more postage by buying 3 this time, because they all had a discount postage, but they got added up, all 3 of them. Whereas normally you'd pay full price for one and then get a very heavy discount for the next 2. But it may well have averaged out, I don't know. I'm not quibbling over a couple of blinking pounds postage. Well packed, nicely done, bearing in mind you've got a spike and 2 in bloom, and they've all arrived and none of them have been bashed around. You can't really moan, can you? And a nice sturdy box. wonder how much it would cost to post that. I've got a problem with the plants that I have to post off, in as much as there's one box is going to be pretty big, and there's a limit at our post office. You have to add the length, breadth and the height, the 3 measurements, and that total must not go over a certain amount or they can't take it. Plus it must not be longer than a certain length within that. So somebody's package might have to go in 2 boxes, which is a pain in the arse. Sorry, pain in the proverbial. A loose talk there. Anyway, an unboxing video, 3 new plants. I'm pleased with them, especially with that Laelia striata. As I said, I've been after that one for some considerable time. And that was from a show. I saw that one for real. That happened with the Laelia anceps. The first one I ever saw for real, I just stood and stared and thought, oh, I've got to have that. Because there's something about that one that when you see it for real is just different to what you've seen in photos. It just lights up. And this one was the same thing. I saw it at a show and I thought it would be marvellous to have that colouring and that patterning at home to look at every day. So now we've got it to look at, well, while it stays in bloom. I don't know how long those have been open, but 3 buds on a purpurata spike is about right. You get 4 sometimes. You don't very often get more than that. So 3 nice plants. Well pleased. Thanks again, Susa, and thanks for the note on the top. I was going to be rather careful anyway, probably not for the same reason as you. I was going to be careful because of the spike on Psychopsis, because if you break one of them, you've got a long wait to get another one, especially if it breaks near the base. So there we go, 3 new plants. Bit of a risk because of the heat wave, but given how fast I get my deliveries, it wasn't that much of a risk because I knew the weather was going to break. The day I ordered them was a swelterer. Wouldn't have been ideal posting then, but they actually got posted in the evening on into the day where the temperature dropped, so it wasn't so much of a big risk. Anyway, there we go then. See you next time.